Hello, fellow Earthlings. This is Earthling 645-546-3728. And why do so many people want to go to live in America? Well, it's probably because of Hollywood, right? Yeah, and let's go into it in a minute. Of course, I am Earthling, yada yada yada. I am an ex-Army reservist. I have an MBA, computer science degree. I've done a bit of programming, and I have traveled quite a bit. Um, Probably not as much as a lot of people, but more than some people. Anyway, that's it for me. So, I was thinking that on the one hand, America, many people in America don't want immigrants coming to the country. And even people who want immigrants coming to the country probably don't want as many people as want to the country to come to the country. But this is on the same, this at the same time, Hollywood and all the dreams that Hollywood furnishes to everyone. I remember An American Tail. It's this cartoon from a long time ago. And there's a song on An American Tail that basically goes like, there are no cats in America, and the streets are paved with cheese. There are no cats in America. And yeah, that's not true. There are lots of cats in America, and if the streets were paved with cheese, nobody would be able to get anywhere. So there's a lot of misinformation that Hollywood provides, and even the news and TV provide to people who don't live in America about what happens in America. And, it is to be expected as the world has changed and reality TV has become more of a thing, and news anchors don't have to always stick to the official point of view and say everything that, people can speak more freely. They speak about the mental health issues, they speak about differently abled people in their families, about diseases that they have to deal with. And because of this let's get real attitude that life has taken, as we have become more and more comfortable with filming and recording different things, it becomes more and more visible to people around the world that before they leave their country, that perhaps things are not as rosy as they might be presented in Hollywood and in the news and in different forums where people put on makeup in order to get on TV, and they make sure that they use their best vocabulary, and they don't use as many colloquialisms, or for example they have that standard American accent that newscasters have. But in spite of that, there is still a large number of people who feel that everything that they did to go through and get to the US, that's worth it for living in the US, when there's so many things that we see on a regular basis with respect to healthcare, with respect to life expectancy, with respect to people being able to have a good quality of lifestyle, that are so much better in many, many other countries. And, if someone were to take the time to look at all of these different parameters, they might find that given the fact that they have to start over in the US, that it probably doesn't make as much sense as it seems like it might, to give up everything that they have in their own country and go somewhere else. Unfortunately, the power of emotion and what Hollywood basically sells are feelings. How do you feel? And feelings move us much, much more than actual facts, unfortunately. So the feeling that you get when the music strikes a particular tone in a movie, and in so many countries on the world, the staple um, the staple movies and whatever that they get comes from the US. So you have all of these people all around the world who are basically consuming US propaganda. Maybe it's not official propaganda that somebody comes to the movie industry and says, listen, you need to include this in every movie that you're going to have. You need to do this, you need to do that. Maybe it's not something official. Maybe it's just the propaganda that most Americans already absorb on a daily basis that has been passed down throughout history of the United States, that America is so much better at X and Y and Z and W, so much so that so many people came to America and increased America's wealth and prowess and all these other things. But unfortunately, as we would have seen with respect to the end of the last presidency, just being wealthy does not save you from instability and unrest and the risk of things going horribly wrong. And that's another thing too that is probably going to change in the future. Whereas there was and has always been, through film and through literature and through all these different things, this professional view, and that is beginning to fall away with the advent of reality TV and so many different people on YouTube and other social media platforms being able to show different sides of places. What is also happening is that the stability of the US also, which has been really strong in the past, might be starting to diminish. At least there are huge cracks that were emerging at the end of last year, whereby people were openly suggesting that Mr. Trump should defy the election results and instate martial law and take the elections over until they gave the result that he wanted, I suppose. Or maybe just forget about elections altogether. And it's really easy to forget that and to think that Mr. Trump went away because he's not on Twitter every day. And, maybe it is that might continue. Maybe Mr. Trump may never gain the same kind of prominence that he has. Definitely his health is not of the best. He's already quite an old guy. So that might not happen again. But other people, can we say that someone like, is it the governor of New York, Mr. Cuomo? Can we really say that we would have ever had seen anything like this? Somebody, an official who has been accused by multiple people, just riding it out and not resigning. That, as far as I know, that doesn't happen. But even though he's supposed to be on the opposite side of Mr. Trump, I think Governor Cuomo has taken some of his lead and has decided to, hey, I could be a governor 3-4 more times, and none of this needs to be resolved, and this, as it was the case with Mr. Trump. So, but yeah, it is something of, it speaks to actually America as a whole, that maybe it wasn't Trump that started this. Of course it wasn't. But even America can do that. On the one hand, we can see these things that happened. We can see other things that happen as a result of this more reality bending point of view, where we see real life in America. We see that there are many poor people and many people who find life hard to get by, but it doesn't matter to many of the people who might look at Hollywood movies and TV. They just see the side that they want to see, that leads them to risk everything in many instances and start over and just hold on for dear life if they perhaps enter the country illegally because, this is the only land I've ever known. Okay, well, there are other countries. There are, 190 something other countries. So I'm sure some of them would be okay. You might be able to have a good life in some of those other countries. You don't have to hold on for dear life as your life passes you. And you don't know whether you should have a kid, or you don't know you should start a business or whatever because you're in an illegal position. So I don't know. Some people, for me, put too much on a particular thing. If I was an illegal person in the U.S., let's say on DACA, or let's say on any number, whatever it might be there that is allowing me to continue to live in the U.S., I might very well just bite the bullet and say, okay, well, I'm not going to live with this uncertainty. I'm out. Peace. No matter what I've been indoctrinated with respect to movies and TV and whatever else, life is life, and there's billions of other people who live really good lives, and they are not or have never set foot in the U.S. So me personally, I don't know how to relate to that kind of desperate attitude. I don't know. Anyway, that's it for me. Feel free to like, dislike, comment, subscribe, share, any of those good things. The same way that you would like someone to provide feedback to you if this were your YouTube content. Have a good one. Peace.